Alright, installing an AMI meter. First off, use the green button on the side of the handheld to turn that on. And turn this on. Make sure to turn the radio on before you start the MyNet stuff on the handheld. And this is going to take a minute to boot. Okay. Go down to the bottom corner here. You see the little Windows sign. Tap that. Up in the top right corner, you'll see MyNet. Let me get my. And tap that. Okay. There we go. All right. This may pop up, and you can just hit hide. Don't hit cancel. All right. Now, if everything goes well, you'll have two H's up here, and the Bluetooth light will be lit. If your Bluetooth light is not lit on the radio, there's another video on getting your Bluetooth to connect. All right, so next thing you want to do is go to Tools and Sign In. There you want to put in your ID. It's either going to be, whatever it is, tech, whatever, and it's all caps, and there's a space between all the characters and the numbers, and then come to this line here. In fact, you have to hit, if you set it up once, it'll be there, but if you have to change it, you hit Add New, then you can edit it, and then you hit Done, and it'll set you up. But if you're using the same held over and over again, it'll keep your ID in there. Next thing you need to do is go back to Tools and go to Sync Worksheet. All right, you need to know your cell number. Mine's going to be 136. You highlight it, and then you hit Download. It's going to tell you the cell is downloaded. You click OK. Now you can spread these apart so you can see your addresses. There we go. So I'm at 430 Rivers Ridge Circle. You highlight the address. So add it, and you see that at the top, that replace lit up. So this is going to be an exchange, and in this case it's going to be, yours would probably say new or exchange, and if you're placing a new meter, you would select new. If you're exchanging a meter, you'll hit exchange. If for some reason I was actually removing this one and just taking it completely out and not putting one in, I'd hit remove, but we're doing an exchange. So then you need to check the meter number, because it's going to have the old meter number. So this is the node number, and here's your meter number. So it's 0150. 0150 is my meter number. You don't need to worry about the node, checking that it's going to be right. And if you're doing installing, if this was a non-AMI meter, you wouldn't have that old meter ID. It would just have the meter number and a place to put the reading. So let's put the reading in of the old meter. Yeah. Oops. Down here at the bottom is the keyboard button in the middle, and it moves around, so switch over to numbers. And my reading is 17167. Oops, 67. And then I hit next. Okay, this is the important screen. This would be what meter you're placing in and the multiplier and everything. On all 5/8 up to 1 inch, we are going to be installing, and this is a little touchy sometimes, we're going to be installing Mueller Systems SSR EXT. The multiplier is going to be 0.01. The ports will stay the same, and you change gallons to cubic feet. There. My pit is plastic, and it is positive displacement. So the rest of this is right. Make sure you get your meter your meter size right as well. And once you have all this set, if you're doing several of them, as long as you don't turn this off, it'll keep this information. Okay, so now it's time to scan the meter and grab it. So on the node, you have a code here, and on the meter, there is a sticker on the side of it that I've already taken off, and you always put the little code here on the top. So the first thing it asks you to scan is, oh, got my finger over it. First thing it asks you to scan is the Mueller product ID. That is going to be the node. You hit the middle button on the left side, and it'll start the scanner. And you just scan that code, and it will fill the numbers in for you. So then the next thing you have is a register serial number and body serial number. These should always be the same. There'd be a rare case it wouldn't, and you would know to split it. But you click that box and scan the. Okay, if you hear that sound, then something went wrong. This right here. Let's see if I can get it to work. Hit the button here on the side. Yep, it got it. Now I have to do it one more time. There it went. Okay, oh, I got it in the wrong spot. Let me scan it one more time. Sorry for the camera moving around. There we go. So as you can see, we got the Mueller ID, register serial number, and body serial number. Now we need to test it. So you hit the test button. And what it's doing is actually the radio is talking to the node to make sure it's working correctly. And if you hear the ding, it did. And you may see this pop up. It says the selected hardware does not match. You just hit yes. Okay, now is a good time to check your reading to make sure your multiplier is right. And so it's showing the reading is 0.00, and the reading on the meter is in fact 0.00. So it is correct. And this is a good place to catch yourself if you got the multiplier wrong. Oh, so hit next. Okay, you can test the valve if you want. I'm gonna go ahead and do it just for the fun of it. So the valve is open, I'm gonna hit close. Now I just heard it click. So it's off. And you can do this with the water on. So it's asking you, did the water stop flowing? I'll hit yes. And now I'm gonna open the valve. And there's the valve clicked open. And say yes, the water started flowing. You don't have to do that, I'm just demonstrating. And we'll go next. So now you need to have the handheld right over top of the meter box. This is GPS location. Now there's a little retry button. You need to hit that a few times until your coordinates stop jumping around. All right, then you hit next. Now here's a place that says for notes, if there's some note you want to put in there for someone else to see, if they happen to look in the MyNet stuff, they'll see it. It's not going to show up in SAP. Hit next. 430 Rivers Ridge Circle, everything's good to go. You click finish. Now if you had several of these to do, there would be a list of them. And let's say you did something wrong, you can do, you'd see it lit at the top to reinstall. You can do a reinstall. Pretty much recommend after about 5, if everything's going well, you sync the worksheet back. And that's actually the next step. Since this is the only one I have on here, I have to sync this worksheet back. So you would go to Tools. I hope I showed that down at the bottom again. Tools. And then Sync Worksheet. And it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to do that? Let me get the keyboard out of the way. And we're going to do yes. So once this is synced back, you cannot do anything with that address. It is gone. And you would have to make a phone call to get somebody to free it back up for you. Again, you need to sync about every 5 or so. If something happens and this thing locks up or whatever, you're going to lose everything that you've done. So if you do a ton of them and don't sync, and then something happens, the battery dies or whatever, you're just screwed. You're going to have to go back and do them all over again. Anyway, that's the steps.